Hi book lovers and welcome back to my channel Book Creeps. I'm Jessel. How are you? What's up? What is the scene? Listen up. As you can tell from today's video, we have our TBR. We have our TBR on our Kindle, our ebooks, our ebook reader, our physical bookcase. We have had books and we haven't picked it up. And then when we finally read it, we're like, why haven't I picked this up before? Why am I now reading this? Like, this book was so good and I can't believe that I had it sitting there on my TBR. So this video is going to be about some books I wished I picked up sooner. And I know you can relate to me. I know we have all been through this as readers. So yeah, go grab some tea, grab some coffee, grab some juice, drink some water, and let's dive into these books that I wish I picked up sooner. I wished I'd read sooner because honestly, when I was done reading it, I was so mad with myself. First up, this entire series, I regret not starting sooner. I regret not reading sooner. The Gideon Brothers by Janelle. Hello? Have you read this? First of all, the first time that I picked up this book, I started with book 2. Wrong move, because I'm like, hello, what is she talking about? I decided that I would read this entire series from book 1 because I already owned all the physical books. Like, I had the books sitting there for 2 years and I didn't touch it. And I'm like, why? So I read book 1, which was Jagged, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I reread Atlas. Then I went on to Peter. I'm like, okay, Peter. Then I went on to Joseph. And I'm like, huh? What? And then I just immediately went on to the other books in the series, like back to back to back. As soon as I ended one, I started the next one. And I started the next one. And I started the next one. I'm like, Giselle, why did you do this to yourself? Within this series, each book is very different. They have kick-ass heroines. And the thing is, not all of them are the same. One is a business owner. Another one is a lawyer. Another one, she's into bad stuff, okay? Not the mafia type of stuff, but she runs her own organization. The other one, she has had so many terrible things happen to her, but she can kick ass, like she's a fighter. So each of the heroines are all different. They form this beautiful sisterly bond, which I love. And then the brothers, there's this brotherhood between them. They grew up together. Not all of them are blood brothers. Like 4, they are like from one set of parents and the other from a different set of parents, but they grew up together. And it was just amazing, great storytelling. And I kicked myself for not picking this up sooner. Exhibit B, Pretty Dangerous by Jolie Alexandra. This book was just sitting in my Kindle library, just there. And when I read it, it blew my mind. Normally, the MMC is the dark and dangerous one. In this book, the FMC, she's the dark and dangerous one. She's the one that stalks the guy. She's the one that unalives people. I read this and it was seriously everything. From the beginning of the book when they met and how she threatens his ex to just get her out of the way, to the point where she literally tells him, you are my husband, you are going to be with me. And he flees because he got so scared. And she literally stalked him all over. And anyone that got in the way, she would deal with them. She was like a serial unaliver because something really bad happened to her. Pretty Dangerous, it's exactly that. She's pretty, she's gorgeous, but she's dangerous. She is skilled, she is dangerous, and once she sets her target, once she sets her sight on you, that is it. This book had me from beginning to end. It had me in its grasp, in its grip. It was just captivating The story was well told. There wasn't any gaps. There wasn't any holes. It flowed really well. And you're like, oh my gosh, is he going to continue to run? Honestly, y'all, this book, and to this day, I kick myself. Why did I take so long, Giselle? Why did you take so long to read this book? Huh? Why did you take so long? Somebody's Wife, Exhibit C. This one took me for a loop. So think about a couple that got married early and then everything just like fizzled out. She felt abandoned and alone, but she was fearful to leave her marriage of 20 years. So think about marriage woes, think about like emotional and mental abuse to the point where you've lost yourself, you don't know who you are, and basically she's very intelligent and she just becomes candy. And so it takes someone else to show her her value, to show her that she's worth something, and to show her that she's worth being loved, and she doesn't have to be afraid, that she can step out there, find herself, be whole, and move on, that she doesn't have to stay with this guy. Because why? Everyone on the outside thinks they have this perfect life and he's cheating on her left, right, and center. It's in her face. This book, it was an amazing read. It was an emotional read. And throughout this book, I was rooting for the FMC. I was hoping that, listen, girl, get it together. This is not the end of the world. Okay, you moving on is not the end of the world. And at the end of the book, it was refreshing. It was light. You got healing at the end of this book. She was healed. You saw that process. It wasn't just about like the romance, but you saw where she started off broken and brittle, and then you saw a process where she became whole and healed. She discovered that love for herself. Honestly, this book, it was amazing. This is another Black love romance, and it is written by Huffington. Exhibit D. This book, it is written in a way you have to pay very close attention to it, because yes, it's a contemporary romance. However, there's also some supernatural and paranormal stuff with it. I would say more supernatural than actually paranormal. So think about this couple. They are in love. They're happy. Everything is beautiful. Malachi, he's in the game. He's in the streets, but he keeps his wife out of the streets. And so something terrible happens and he's grieving the loss of his wife. He cannot get over her. He secludes himself. He secludes his daughter. He separates himself from his family. Her passing away was very detrimental. And at the same time that she passes, someone else almost dies in a car accident. And so she sees something and she has this inclination to go to this place and to answer this particular ad. Overall, this is a heartwarming story. It is an emotional story. It isn't straightforward. It's not your contemporary like bad boy kind of story, your street lit. It's not that. It is so much more. It is beautifully written. The characters you love, like you feel their pain, you feel their hurt, you feel their grief. And I'm like, why Giselle, why have you taken so long to read this book? And because I read one of her other books, right here, because I read this book, it made me fall in love with her writing. I just loved the story. And so I went down the rabbit hole with this author. And I'm just going to let you know right now, look out for more books from Huffington. And if you have not read her work and you want to start with this book, because this is book 1 in a series, or if you'd like to start with this book, because this is also book 1 of another series, I absolutely enjoyed this book. I was seeing it all over my For You page, and I'm like, Giselle, girl, why take you so long, girl? Why did it take you so long to read this book? Alexandra House, Exhibit E. This is book 1 in the St. Louis Sirens series. In the past, I did not read a lot of books with curvy or plus size heroine. Now, I'm reaching for them. Now, I want them. I need more. I need more. This book, I listened to the audiobook. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I loved the audiobook. If you have Audible, this is one of the free reads that you can get on Audible. You don't have to use your coins. So in this one, it is a sports romance. It is a black romance. The MMC, he's living with his girlfriend. They need a nanny. They need someone who can help out because his living girlfriend, she's a mess. She's a mess. But she created her own problems because she got bowled out. The main FMC, she was sweet, she was kind, she was caring, she was nurturing, and she was everything that the MMC needed. And he saw that who he was with wasn't meant for him. It wasn't who he was supposed to be with. This is a great story. And yes, I did kick myself after listening to the audiobooks because... But it's okay. You know what? It's okay. Pay attention to Exhibit F. Pay attention to this book. Pay close attention to this book. Tempted by Danger by Endiya Carter. I went down the rabbit hole with this author. I read one of her books in the past before I took my booktube break. And I absolutely love it. Did I read more from her? No, and I should have. Okay? I should have. And I don't want you to make the same mistake that I did. So if you like a black billionaire, if you like office romance, if you like grumpy sunshine, go get this. Go get this. And this is book 1 in the Danger Family series, okay? And the series progressively gets better. It gets better. Like, she just released book 3, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this entire series. But you need to start with book 1, okay? You need to start with book 1. So, picture being the youngest brother in a family, and you were the one chosen to run the family company. You were the one that was given the green light to run this company. Not the oldest, not the smartest, not the one who was trained for this, who wanted it so badly. You were. But you don't want it. But you don't have a choice but to accept it. And then you have his secretary who will not put up with his nonsense. The banter in this book, the characters in this book, the side characters in this book, it is everything. It is everything. It is juicy. It is entertaining. There's family drama. There's family secrets. You also have a bit of a tiny, like, small town vibes because the FMC is from a small town. Yo, this book was given everything that you want in a book. You could find it in Tempted by Danger. And these Danger Brothers, you gotta look out for them, because they are indeed dangerous. Another series that I'm kicking myself for not reading sooner, for not picking up sooner, for, I don't know, it just never caught my attention. It wasn't my TBR, but I never picked it up, was Exhibit G. La Madeline Brothers Saga by K. Lewis. I'm currently waiting for the next book in this series to come out. That's how good this entire series is. It is an interracial paranormal romance. And for me, finding interracial paranormal romances, it's quite challenging because sometimes they aren't that great. They aren't that great. So when I come across a paranormal romance that I love, that I adore, that I devour, that I want more of, I'm like, give it to me. These are the books in the story. It is a vampire romance, but listen, there's also other paranormal beings. So you have vampires, you have shifters, you have witches. So book one, it is a vampire romance and it is a vampire's revenge. And this book features Gabriel and Jala's story. And then you have a vampire's choice and Strawberry, she is a witch. And then you have a vampire's sacrifice, and this is Killian and Deja's story. She is a shifter. I cannot wait for what other paranormal being we're going to get. All of these brothers or all of these friends, they are all vampires, but the FMC in the books, there's some other being. I forgot to mention that Jala, she was just human. She was just human. So it starts off with a human, then we get the witch, then we get the shifter. What are we going to get next? What are we going to get next? And because the story keeps evolving, there is a main plot, but you also have all of these side plots that is carrying the story. Can you read this as a standalone? No. Should you read this in order? Yes, most definitely. Do not just go into it, oh, I'll just read this one, oh, I'll just read that one. This is book two. No. You need to read this series in order to understand what's happening because it does progress and it is carrying the main plots. I am in love with this story. This one was very refreshing. The world building is great. The backstory is good. The history as well is really good. You get very vivid description, which I like. Nothing is closed door, nothing is just brushed over, and I really appreciate that because sometimes with paranormal romances things don't get explained, and when it's not explained I don't enjoy it as much, and we get that in this book. So these are the books that I wished I read sooner. Are there any books you wish you would not have picked up sooner, or are these some of the books that you wished you also picked up sooner or knew about, or like you've just had it there on your TBR and it's sitting there, it's just in your library? Go pick it up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I post, and look out until I post more bookish videos.